In this video, let's take a look at the two settings boxes or the dialogues that we have here in the Enscape toolbar. The first one is general settings, and you don't even have to worry about this honestly. The loading screen interface overlay icon and custom title is basically used for the exe, and we'll take a look at how to export your project as an exe. When you export your project, you can have a loading screen, like when your project loads, it'll show up. Then we can have an interface overlay, like a logo that goes in on top of the exe or the executable that you have. And if you want to add an icon, you can do that as well, and a custom title for the exe. So these are basically for that. And the input, the mouse, how the mouse moves, devices, you don't even have to think about these honestly. It's automatically set to the best possible settings you can have. And this don't worry about this particular one, but the other settings one, the visual settings one, is the one that you can manipulate in order to get a better image for rendering purposes, I guess. So there are a couple of things that you can do honestly. The style, you can change these, the way that it appears, like a very cartoonish style, like if you watch the cartoon or the animation Archer, it looks kind of like the Archer setting. So we don't want that, we want a realistic kind of setting. And you can do so many things with these settings. Polystyrene, basically these kind of renderings are important and useful, especially when you send an image, a preliminary image, to a client. You would probably do something like this because you don't want the client to talk about the materials and things like that. You're just basically trying to sketch out an initial idea. When you're trying to sketch out an initial idea, you want to have everything very at a very rudimentary level. So these kind of renderings help with those types of situations. Then the light, how the light works and how the light falls on the surfaces and such. So let's see. I'm not really sure if that affects the way that when the day changes, the time of day changes, you can see how the light affects the inside as well. So that's pretty cool, I think. So let's get back to the none mode, where we have it like so. And the overexposure levels, you can change the lightness, brightness of it. And depth of field, you can change the depth of field, I suppose, where you are focusing on a certain section rather than the entire image. I wanted to go back to the point where I had it previously. Basically, let's have it at autofocus. Then again, if you don't have autofocus on, you can change these two settings. And the render quality obviously is at high. You can have it at ultra, but you don't need to. That's fine. The image quality, in terms of how the saturation, the color, the contrast works, and you can mess around with these if you want to, and see if anything happens. I'm gonna do auto contrast, and there you go. It takes a bit to change, honestly. Saturation levels, you can see, you can mess around with these. The important part of it is just this atmosphere. I think you can change the way that the background looks like. So if you want just a white background without any clouds or skies, you can do that. And you can change the intensity of the clouds and skies as well. And then the illumination, the sun's brightness change, you can change sun's brightness, and these won't appear until you change the daytime to nighttime, I guess. So when you get into the nighttime, that's a very nice color. Where is the moon? I really can't see the moon, honestly. Shadow sharpness, you can change all of that. if you wanted to. Oops. So let's get back to the time of day so that we can see the building. Some light, you might want some light coming through. Evening, like that, like that light. Then we can change the source of the background. So right now it's at skybox. I can make it clear rather than how you can't see anything. Oops. So I want to see the outside. So you can go in and add a desert if you want. So it's in a desert climate. If you want to, you can add forest climate. If you want to, you can add a mountain construction site. These all look quite nice. The town, so something like that. You'd like it when it does that. There you go. It looks pretty realistic, doesn't it? So you can do white cubes if you want to, if you don't want a realistic view, especially with the polystyrene kind of a model, if you want to create that. And the white ground. I'm just going to leave it at, where should I leave it? I'm going to leave it at the urban. Well, let's leave it at mountains. There you go. And alright. So that's how you change all that. The intensity levels, you can change that as well. The direction angles, the way the light falls, and all that fun stuff. How much cloud covering you want. So you can mess around with these and see how it works. So this is actually, I think, the important part of this dialog box. Then we can have the capture settings. I'm not going to change anything, I'm just going to leave it as it is. And in the next videos, we'll see how we can render our images and then maybe create a small video